ideal teacher, to cut it short, has a great role to play in the society. So we have been discussing this again and again. An ideal teacher is not just a teacher, is a good counselor. Because students come with many problems for their age. And I told you, an engineering college student has more problems than a school-going student. For his age, for the chemical reactions that take place in his or her body. I hope you understand what I am trying to tell you. Right? So they have many problems. An ideal teacher should be a good counselor that makes him an ideal teacher. An ideal teacher is a leader. He leads from front. He leads from front, and look at the way he leads. How does he lead? He leads them by love, by trust, and by example. He leads them by love, trust, and example. Right? Now here I have a small story again, which is based on this. An ideal teacher is a parent in school and a teacher at home. An ideal teacher is a parent in school and a teacher at home, so that every child, whether he is in school or at home, he is taught, he is trained, he is taken care of. He is not deprived of love, trust, care, patience. And here I have a small story. I will cut it short. Right? I will take not more than 5 minutes. Please listen to me carefully, because if I don't read this, I cannot make this presentation complete. Listen to me carefully. Right? There is a story many years ago of an elementary school teacher. Her name is Mrs. Thompson. Mrs. Thompson. She goes to a class and she says, I love all the students, all the children in the same way. All of you. I am not partial. Like all of us, we also think in the same manner. And she finds a student in the first bench itself. His name is Teddy Stoddard. Teacher's name is Mrs. Thompson. Student's name is Teddy Stoddard. Now look at this. Mrs. Thompson had watched Teddy the year before and noticed that he did not play well with other children. Now he has problems. This boy is not mixing up with other classmates. His clothes were messy, untidy, and that he constantly needed a bath. అసలు స్నానం కూడా చేయలేదేమో, ఎప్పుడు చూసినా మాసిపోయిన బట్టలు, మొహం కడుక్కోకుండా ఒక రకంగా ఉండేవాడు, ఎవరితో కలవకుండా. And Teddy could be unpleasant for every teacher. Nobody liked his association, his presence in the classroom. It got to the point where Mrs. Thompson would actually take delight in marking his paper's answer sheet with a big F, fail. She was enjoying that. Kasito anamata. This fellow, this idiot, deserves this. Fail mark with reading. Big F. At the school where Mrs. Thompson taught, she was one day required to review each child's past record. She was assigned that duty. Now Teddy was in 5th standard, but when she reviewed the past record, Teddy's first grade teacher wrote, Teddy is a bright child. See, amazing. You are considering him as a useless fellow, but when he was in first class, his first grade class teacher wrote, Teddy is a bright child with a ready laugh, always smiling. He does his work neatly and has good manners. Wonderful child with good manners. He is a joy to be around. Every teacher, every student loved his presence. That was Teddy when he was in first standard. His second grade teacher wrote, Teddy is an excellent student, well liked by his classmates, but he is troubled. But he is troubled because his mother has a terminal illness and life at home must be a struggle. Now his mother is on deathbed with a terminal illness, a dangerous, fatal, deadly disease that has troubled him, that has affected him. His third grade teacher wrote, his mother's death has been hard on him. He tries to do his best, but his father does not show much interest, and his home life will soon affect him, his performance, if some steps are not taken quickly. And his father got married to another lady. మనకు తెలుగులో ఒక సామెత ఉంది, తల్లి చనిపోతే సొంత తండ్రి బాబాయ్ అవుతారట, సొంత తండ్రి. Nobody can replace mother in our life. Father is no doubt the head of the family, but nobody can replace mother. Teddy's 4th grade teacher wrote, Teddy is withdrawn. He stopped mixing with people and does not show much interest in school now. He does not have many friends and sometimes sleeps in class. He is not finding anything interesting. But now, Mrs. Thompson realized the problem and felt ashamed of herself. She took pains one day when Teddy brought a gift on the occasion of Teacher's Day. Teddy brought a gift. That gift was stapled at many places, covered with a brown sheet. Everybody brought a good gift wrapped in a beautiful gift packing. But Teddy brought a gift for his teacher, though she was giving him big F with a red color on his answer sheet. Teddy still loved his teacher, came with a gift pack which was stapled at many places. Mrs. Thompson took pains to open the pins, stapler pins. Children were laughing for the behavior of Teddy, for his approach, for the way he has given the gift. Some of the children started laughing, but she calmed down. Then she opened that gift and she finds a rhinestone bracelet, a bracelet with some of the stones missing and a bottle of perfume that was 1/4 full of perfume. She stifled the children's laughter and dabbed some of the perfume on her wrist and she smelled it. Teddy stayed after the school. This boy stayed after the school hours also that day, just long enough to say, Mrs. Thompson, today you smelled just like my mom used to. You smelled just like my mom used to because my mom used this perfume and you dabbed on it and you are smelling like my mom who is no more. Mrs. Thompson, after listening to this, she stayed back where she was for an hour and cried like anything. From that day onwards, she stopped teaching mathematics. She stopped teaching English. She stopped teaching science. She stopped teaching social. Instead of that, she started reaching the souls of the children. Stopped teaching, stopped reaching them. A year later, what happened? There was terrific improvement in Teddy. Teddy was improving. Teddy was mixing with others. Teddy was playing with others. Teddy was improving in terms of his performance. He got first rank. In the next grade, he got first rank. In the next grade, he got first rank. He left the school with flying colors. In flying colors, he got to a very good position. And after years later also, he writes a letter to Thompson. Mrs. Thompson, I am now 24 years old, but even today, by God I am telling you, you are the best teacher. You are the best teacher. You are the ideal teacher. After a few years, he writes a letter. Now that my father is also no more and I am going to get married, will you come and take the place of my parents on the occasion of my marriage? And Mrs. Thompson living in other country, Teddy was living in other country. Teddy posts the ticket, flight ticket, and Thompson gets them. Mrs. Thompson attends the marriage of Teddy. And on that day, look at these words, concluding words. Teddy approaches near Thompson and he says, thank you, Mrs. Thompson, for believing in me, for loving me so much. Thank you so much for making me feel important and showing me that I too can make a difference. I too can make a difference. Mrs. Thompson, with wet eyes, with melted heart, she says in return, Teddy, you have all wrong in your mind. You were the one who taught me that I could make a difference in the life of at least one. I did not know how to teach until I met you. So my dear teachers, I think you got the message. This is the impact which teachers can have in the lives of students. I thank all of you, the elderly teachers here who have spent their precious time with me.